Going from being a one-person business to scaling up to have multiple employees is a huge jump. And it's a major shift in how your mind thinks and how you actually operate your business on a day-to-day basis. If you're working for yourself, by yourself, on a project, you're probably doing a lot of the technical work and you're delivering that to the customer, much like you would if you were an employee for that customer. That's a model that works well for small projects. But as you get bigger and you need other resources on that project, you might need to bring other people in on that. And that's not just you doing technical work here and the next person doing technical work and the next person doing technical work, magically all working together. It becomes a management problem right off the bat as soon as there's one other person in the mix. And now your time is divided between being the technical person and managing the other technical people that are on the project. Scaling through that is a big shift. Going from just concerned with the technical to being concerned with now project management, communication with the customers, wrangling the other developers and engineers on the project to make sure that they stay on task. Because if you're the business owner, that means that you are now responsible for the work that the others are doing and responsible for keeping them on track. One of the other aspects of running a business with multiple people is the overhead cost. You immediately raise the floor of your costs to a point where you have to think of the business differently. If you're working on your own and you have some downtime in between projects, you've got your own personal living expenses, but while money is not coming in on another project, you don't really have probably too much beyond your living expenses. But if you've got a team of people that are expecting work to be able to put in with their hours, if you don't have something for them to do, they might still be on the clock. You might still have to be paying them. There are different models that you can go to try to scale your business. One of them would be where the people that are working for you are subcontractors and you give them work when they are available and when you've got work for them, and when you don't have work for them, they're just sitting on the bench. That might work well for some people, especially younger people that don't have a lot of expenses on their own, but that will quickly not work long term. If you're only giving someone 1 week of work a month, that's not going to keep them on your team and available for when you actually need them. So to actually grow and become a business of more than one person, you'll eventually have to take on the responsibility of providing a constant stream of work to those people. And that is a huge liability that you need to be able to meet at, which is now your baseline. So you can't just take a week off without experiencing the cost of that. You have to keep those people busy day in and day out, or you're losing money at that new base rate of whatever the overhead expense is for them. And as those people are on your team as employees, they're looking to you to be finding the work and to keeping them busy, just like you used to do when you were an employee for someone else. You now feel that burden as a business owner of how much effort that takes and how much frustration that generates if you're paying people, but you've got no paying work coming in to pay them with. It is an exponential increase in your baseline because you don't even have money coming in, but you still have the money flowing out at the same rate. It can be a very frustrating thing. And depending on how well your pipeline works, if that time gets stretched out, that can become a very anxiety-ridden period of time. I've had many times like that through my business career, running things where the pain of, so you've got like a customer that just isn't ready to move forward on a project. So you've got a team of people sitting there ready to go, but the customer just isn't giving you the PO or signing on the contract. And if a week or two goes by, it doesn't seem like a lot of time to that customer. And it doesn't seem like a lot of time to you if you're a one-man shop sitting there just waiting. I'll just kind of have a relaxing week. We'll start next week. That'll be fine. But if you're running a shop with a bunch of people, say you've got 3 people ready to do that project, you're paying 3 people for a week of work. Hopefully, you're finding something else for them to do or whatever, but chances are it's probably not fully paid work. And that is painful because now you've got not just your own expenses that you can easily say, I'll just kind of take it easy and eat ramen noodles this week or whatever. You've got 3 people that are looking for work that are logging maybe 40 hours, and that's a lot of money. It's a lot of overhead, and it is a huge loss that needs to be baked in to that project that starts a week later. How do you recover that? So now, one way to think of it is you're now starting this project 1 week times 3 people, 3 weeks in the hole from a schedule and costing standpoint on that project. That can be extremely painful. That's the hardest growing point that I have found to work through in scaling a business. There is an exponential increase with basically each person that you add to the to your team, that you add with the understanding that they are going to be a full-time person, that you're going to be supplying them work. Other models that can work. One of the ways that I think a lot of people do it, you see a lot of startups that are very often 2 people. And the reason for that is because these are 2 like-minded people, entrepreneurial type people, that can come together to work together and to team up on things, spread out the work. Maybe one of them does some marketing while the other one's doing technical work, doing different roles. But both have the expectation that they are business owners, they are entrepreneurs, and they're not expecting a regular paycheck for every hour that they log. It's a great model if you can find the right person to do that. Finding the right partner is a totally different subject for other talks. That can be extremely difficult and is fraught with problems. But when it works, it can work fairly well because now you're able to scale your business between 2 people without raising the floor of your baseline expenses dramatically. It's probably a little bit of an increase, but it's not as if the other person is expecting 40 hours of paid work and waiting for you to keep them busy. Growing your business is super difficult, but growing your business requires adding staff, adding people to be able to do more business, to be able to take what you do and scale that out to be what your business does. And to be able to go from being a one-person shop to a shop of many requires a total shift in how everything is operating and how the jobs come in, how the time is allocated, how you manage the projects to keep people busy and on track. Because if you don't keep them busy, you can't build them out, and the overhead expenses will absolutely kill you and prevent the growth of your business.